Hello and welcome. In the top left here you can see my setup with my talents, PvP talents, legendary, etc. And in this first clip we are fighting against assassination as a rogue holy priest, and our strategy versus this is simply to wear them down with consistent kill setups on the rogue, with a chastise spear on the priest, and a stun and burst on the as a rogue. And we also want to watch out for Vendetta Sepsis, as that is the most dangerous cooldown, and dispel it if possible. And if he's going me, I also want to try to pre-bear kidneys, so when I need to watch for when kidney shot is off cooldown and when I'm off DR. Without further ado, let's get started. So here you can see I go into bear farm and I start flesh crafting. The reason I do it this late is to get a bigger flesh craft, because as the gates open, your flesh craft gets reduced to 30% of your max HP, which is lower than you can get it from actually just channeling it regularly. So that's why you can get around this though by channeling so that it finishes as the gates are opening or after. So either you start just before it opens or after. A good mark is to start around 2 seconds before the gates open. So let's go. Now obviously the rogue's going to be in stealth. My priest gets zapped. Here we can see he actually has kidneys and vendettas right away. So I open, he sepsis as well. I open with a rake stun, and I want to burst, because out of this my healer is going to CC the other healer as well, and I can dispel the sepsis. So I instantly dispel, and I just do Frenzy, Berserk, Swarm, re-stun him. And here my priest is pushing for the Chastise, and then pushing over for the Fear. I pass over, we get Eve, and we actually get Cloak, because he cloaked aggressively. And he gets Fear. Priest gets, I'm going to position to try to bash off of the Fear to get that extra long CC chain. He gets the Guardian though. So I try to clone the Guardian, and the reason I do this is because cloning someone low on their defensives like Guardian or Ray of Hope, which is one of their main ways to recover, is really good, because then it's harder for them to recover before the next go, and they also get less time to where they can heal before our next go or kill setup. From here, I kick this Master Spell. Even though Master Spell costs a lot of mana here, I wanted to stick because I want to deny the Guardian. And I half clone the beast off, because the rogue is so low, it could force something as well. And we get Vanish. And now pretty much our go is over. We are not going to force anything else, and we can see that his kidney is off cooldown, and I can see on my DR tracker, which is normally here, track with diminish DR tracker add-on, that we are off DR as well. So he's gonna do a kidney whenever now. That's why I just get my bleeds up, and then I try to kite around the pillar, bear, and just try to avoid him until my next setup. So I'm just looking here, when do we have Fear, when do we have Chastise, because when we can get a long enough CC chain on the priest, and then a stun on the rogue, with my dots, that's when we want to go for it again. But we're waiting for Fear DR right now. And he gets kidneyed, I want to peel, so I start healing him here. Doesn't do too much because of hemotoxin, which reduces healing heavily after a chiv. And now the priest actually casts Boon of the Ascendant. This is very scary cooldown, so we want to avoid it. However, I see that they are off the R, I have my cooldowns, and my priest has Fear and almost Chastise. This is a bit unreliable, because sometimes they have it before the add-on will actually think they have it. So while running, I'm asking the priest if we can do a counter go, because that gets that CD is dangerous, but if we can lock them down when we deny their offensive push while also establishing our own pressure. So he says yes, and we go. He casts his priest, I stun the rogue, and I use Tiger's Fury here to go into cat form off global, so I can just instantly in the same global go into cat and stun the rogue, and of course also buff my bleeds for the go. And then I burst with Feral Frenzy, Swarm, Bite, and then I re-stun with a Meld Rake Stun, because I want to they have no trinket and want to lock them down and finish them for the kill. He actually dies there, and we proc his cheap death. Okay, melts to get the silence on both of us. And my priest is actually trying to MC the priest off. This is really good because sometimes all you need is a few extra seconds of CC to kill it, or the rogue bounces it. Just doing damage. And as you can see, I actually trinketed for that kill. Now this, I think, is a very big, you can see here, I trinketed for that kill, and I think this is a mistake. I just felt like we were supposed to kill there because they had no trinkets and Rogue had no defensive. However, he did have chi, so I thought I could kill through, which was a mistake because now we can get punished for it. And we weren't under pressure, like we had enough mana, we even had a mana lead, dampening wasn't too crazy high, so it was a mistake. Here, however, he lives. The priest Luke in there and healed him. Now, however, again, kidney is off cooldown and I'm off DR and they've recovered. So I'm expecting that he's probably going to want to kidney me soon, and I have no trinket now. So here I'm trying to bait him to do it, and now back in there, that was a bit greedy. I wanted to get my bleeds up and then go into bear, but I go into bear now. And there it is, the kidney, vendetta, sepsis. I have no trinket, so this would have been and my healer has no guardian, no raid. This would have been extremely scary if he would have gotten me in cat here. But I burn skin, and I have my proc, my frenzy regen proc, so I should be fine. Here's AR, and yeah, from dispelling sepsis. And here it is vendettas. I want to avoid him, I just want my bleeds up. My priest here runs in and fears. So since I see that, I'm trying to do my go as well. So I just Fury, Frenzy, Swarm, and Stun. So we get the Stun and the Fear. Now, because we had no follow-up off of that Fear, we only get Guardian Spirit from this go, or kill setup. And so like usually we want to wait until we have both Chastise and Fear, unless they're already very low, because with those longer CC chains we can get trinkets or even bigger defensive cooldowns from our goes. Now maybe I could have Wild Charge to bash the priest off who's over here, but even then they can still Guardian through it, and then the rogue can just run around the boxes and just LOS me while he's bashed. However, their trinkets were rotating back, so I guess we just had to try to make a go even without Chastise to try and force something, but it didn't really work out that well. So here I get kidneyed. My healer is healing me though, he's not CC'd, it's fine. And here I casted Clone in his face just because I wanted to bait kick so I can fleshcraft, and I go into bear before fleshcrafting just to get a bigger shield from both the Ursine Vigor Conduit and being in bear form. And this actually works out very, very well because at the same time the enemy priest was pushing up to my priest to do a Chastise Spear go, but they can't really, and the rogue comes back to me, but they can't really go me now because I have my Fleshcraft shield, so they're not going to force anything on me with that. So they have to go to my priest and then break his CC. Now here we can see that my healer got his Chastise Spear back, because like in between our goes we always want to know when we can do another one of our kill setups and want to do them as soon as they're available. So when he has his CC, we have enough burst and they're off DR, we want to do our kill setup. And right here my priest is asking me if I want to do a go, but I'm asking him to hold it until I get my Feral Frenzy back, because I didn't really think that we could force anything without that burst from Feral Frenzy. However, I think this was a mistake because as rogues in particular aren't very durable, I had full dots on him already, and he was already kind of low. If we go back just a few seconds, he was even lower by that time, so we easily could have forced something. And maybe you see that I do have Berserk ready here, but I wanted to hold Berserk for when I have Feral Frenzy, so that would be a really powerful kill go as well. So because of this, I just stun him here, but I'm asking my priest to hold it, and we just stun just because it makes sense to, if we're gonna have to wait for Feral Frenzy anyway, might as well like use the DR so we don't waste stun DRs. And from this, he still even pops Apoth and Cloak of Shadow, so it ended up being a pretty good bait go, actually. I clone the rogue here, just to try to stall until we have our go. But he kidneys my priest. I get stunned. Concede. And here the rogue pops Vendetta Sepsis, so obviously I instantly dispel. And now we have our go, so I'm asking my priest right here because rogue has no trinket, so even though he has Vendetta rolling and they're like doing their go, we can do a counter go because I can stun the rogue off him, remove his pressure while we cause pressure of our own, because now I have all my cooldowns. So that's what we do. I stun, he chastises, I stun, he goes for the fear off, and we burst. And I restun there as well, just so he can't like use any defensives to get away, because he had Vanish available, for example, and Evade. So now when he comes out, he's too low for those defensives to matter. And he goes down. Here we are fighting Fury Warrior Holy Paladin, and here we want to kill the warrior, and we want to do that by doing goes or kill setups with a chastise interfere on the Holy Paladin at the same time as we stun and burst the Fury Warrior. And we want to play defensive during the warrior's recklessness, especially with the Necrolord banner, because that's when he's gonna have the most pressure, and if possible I want to try to get away and kite it by breaking LOS of the warrior, because otherwise it's very hard to get away, because during recklessness he has charges on spammable charge on his raging blow. So here, just before the gates open, I go into bear and start flesh crafting. Unfortunately my shield became a bit smaller than usual because I started flesh crafted too late. I didn't start until the gates had opened, which means my Ursine Vigor fell off and thereby didn't count into the flesh craft. Just getting into position. And here we open. I Fury from stealth and rake stun the warrior. My priest chastises the Holy Pala and he's gonna chastise off. And then I Berserk, Feral Frenzy, Swarm. And I also half main off of it to re-stun to give my priest more time to secure the CC, because otherwise right now maybe he would cause a stormbolt on my priest and he would stop the fear. And also him being stunned for longer gives my priest longer time to getting damage of his own. And then after this I just want to rip and Moonfire. However, I get stunned, and as we can see the warrior pops his wall, which is his enrage regeneration, which you can see here and here, which is his main defensive, and he also pops his biggest offensive cooldown, so banner and recklessness. So right now I just wanna, when I get out of this stun, I just wanna pressure enough to get maybe another defensive if we can, and then get the hell out. So he drops really low and he pops Rally as well, his commanding shout, and wings from the Pala. So at this point we've already gotten, and he sacks as well because he gets scared for his HP, and at this point we're not gonna force anything more, and he has all of his biggest offensive cooldowns rolling anyway. If I continue trading at this point, I'm just gonna lose the trade, so that's why I just root the warrior and try to get away. Because I just want to LOS the warrior while he has his recklessness and banner rolling. Here, however, when he goes on my priest, I have to, who can't really get away as easily as I can, I have to get in and keep damaging to do counter pressure, or otherwise like peel him. Here again though, when he runs around the pillar, to get to him I immediately go to the other side, because if we can avoid him we want to. Now however his cooldowns are fading. I stun him here even though my healer hasn't got his CC yet, because at this point when he had his cooldowns up and stuff, I just wanted to do it as a defensive maim to stop his pressure simply, and I didn't have my Feral Frenzy, so I didn't have my big go anyway, so I think it's worth to stun just to stop his pressure and like reset his stacks, and then in the next stun there we still get our big go. However, in this situation it may have been a waste to stun here without the CC, because the fact is that his offensive cooldowns had already faded, so I didn't need to stun defensively, and as we can see he was already very low, so we could have maybe kept him low for another 5-10 seconds, and then we could have actually done a go with like a stun and a fear on the, or just a fear on the paladin, and already gotten more defensives from them. However, if he still would have had his offensive cooldowns up, then I think it would have been worth the maim stun defensively, but since he didn't, I think it would have been better to actually wait for the CC. But again, I didn't have like my big go anyway, so it's not the end of the world. And it did actually bait out his trinket. And then you can see like when I'm dealing with, all I do is I reapply my bleeds and then I just kite around the pillar. My priest gets hodged, but I just kite around the pillar to get away. I thorns to slow him and to deter him, and I just keep swapping between bear and travel form to just get speed and keep these boxes in between us so he can't just spam charge me with raging blow. Pop a regen there. And right now in 10 seconds we can see our priest has his CC. I have my friends in about 10 seconds and warriors off on DR on about 10 seconds. So in 10 seconds we want to do another go. So I want to get bleeds up. I root him there to try to get him off my healer. It's kind of a waste because he was just on him anyway. But there we go, he would do another go, chastise the Holy Pala, maim stun the warrior, Fury, Frenzy, Swarm, Bite, and then I re-stun him as well because he has no trinket, so keeping him stunned for longer means my priest has a larger chance to get off damage that won't get spell reflected. For example, this Holy Fire right here that goes through and gets him low. The Holy Pala trinkets, but I jump over to him and I bash his trinket, and that's enough to finish him right there. Thanks a lot for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a like, as that helped me out a lot, and please tell me in the comments what you think of this video, as I'm very curious to hear about that. If you want to see more videos like this, you can subscribe to get a notification when I make another video, as I plan to make more PvP videos like this, for example like my highlight videos, and also more commentaries like this one. Thank you and have a great day.